Today I'm going to be ranking every single Total Drama Island challenge from worst to best. Total Drama is such a good show. It managed to just blend this like edgy teen comedy with unique challenges and gave us over 20 unique characters that for the most part all got their own storylines, and from episode to episode you could say like the main character switches, and it was just so unique for the time, it was so good for the time, and it was such a good show, which is why I figured why not look at every single challenge in the show and rank them all from worst to best, looking at if they're enjoyable, if they progress the characters, whatever it was that made them really good or really bad I'm going to be talking about today. And for the challenges, if it's like a two-parter or a three-parter, for example, the cliff jump and then you have to build a hot tub, if it's all happening in the same episode and it's all revolving around the same thing, I'm just going to mush that all into just one. I'm not going to rank every single part of every single challenge. I'm just going to rank the challenge as a whole for that episode. And if you like videos just like this, please make sure to like and subscribe. If this video does well, I will do Total Drama Action as well, and I have plenty of other good content coming on the way about regular show, Adventure Time, Gumball movies, and other TV shows. So yeah, you want to make sure you're subscribed, and I also have a Discord down in the description, just a place to hang out, talk about nostalgic cartoons, send memes, ask me questions, whatever you want to do there. So without further ado, let's get into some Total Drama and rank every single challenge from the show.
Back off, ghetto glamour, too tight pants wearing rap star wannabe, mall shopping, ponytail wearing, teen girl reading, peeking in high school prom queen.
And starting off this list is actually going to be the very first challenge in the episode Not So Happy Campers 2. It's going to be the challenge where you have to dive off of a cliff and then build a hot tub with the supplies you find in the water. And it's actually a really good premise. It's a great introductory challenge to the things that we could expect to see in the show. I enjoy it a lot. We get some good moments, but compared to everything else on this list, I think it's honestly pretty tame, even though, you know, jumping off a cliff into shark-infested waters doesn't sound tame. It overall is. We get a couple of good moments with a couple of good jumps.
Oh my God!
The majority of them all jump off, but nothing really dramatic happens that much. They just all jump and they all make it in the white circle. It's not like they're landing in the shark-infested waters, and the one guy that actually lands in the shark-infested waters is Justin, and he's all like, ugh. Oh, I'm so hot. Don't touch me, sharks. And the sharks fall in love with him. I enjoy that. I think it's funny.
Paddle! Paddle!
And then we also get that great scene with Lashana and Heather's first big argument, where Lashana literally picks up Heather and throws her off the cliff.
You're jumping! Make me!
It's some great stuff. For the most part, it just doesn't hook me. It doesn't make me go like, yeah, this is great entertainment, this is total drama right here. It's just fine. I enjoy it. They just all jump off the cliff. We get just some good moments there. And then they get to the hot tub building part, and they're just building a hot tub. One of the teams is building it really good, and one of the teams is doing a horrible job, and the team that's building it really good ends up winning, and that's pretty much it. One team works really well, one team doesn't work really well. And that's pretty much it. And then we go on to the elimination. I am going to talk about eliminations for this video. I'm not really going to talk about the like moral implications of the show of the eliminations, but for the most part, Ezekiel, you know, later on after going through all this entire challenge, just to say that, you know, women suck, women are stupid, women aren't strong, just for him to get voted off after all of that, just kind of felt like a cop-out, so all the, like, interesting characters could stay for another episode. Ezekiel just existed to just be stupid. But either way, overall a fine challenge. It's definitely not, like, one I would ever skip. I still find it really entertaining. I just think there are a lot better challenges on this list.
You are so vile. Do your parents even like you?
I don't know, Jumpy McChicken. I haven't asked them lately.
And coming in at number 24, it's going to be from the episode The Sucky Outdoors. And this challenge is just kind of lame. It's just camp in the woods. So the two teams separate and they both have to camp in the woods and spend one night in the forest. And that's pretty much it. It genuinely just feels like a episode where you're just supposed to get to know the characters. And it's just a lot of them talking around a fire, just talking it up, just bonding, and getting to learn about all their personalities a little bit more, because the first two episodes were a little bit rushed with how we were going to learn about all the characters, because I mean the majority of it was introducing you to literally all of them and just some small moments with each character here and there. Here we get to see them talking around around a fire, getting a little bit of their emotions, starting to see like the relationships that are starting to be formed, mainly between like Courtney and Duncan. We get a lot of stuff with that, but as a challenge, nothing is really happening until Owen's like, oh yeah, me and my grandfather, we fought a bear. I don't know why I made him talk like that, but either way, he's like, yeah, I fought a bear, and then a bear actually shows up and they're terrified of it, but it turns out it was just Izzy hiding as a bear. Who gave her a bear outfit?
Hey, are you okay?
Did that bear just ask me a question?
And why? Why did she? I don't get it. But either way, she was hiding as a bear and tried to scare them all. And that's when Owen and Izzy start making actual bear noises and summon a real bear. So they have to hide in a tree for the entire night and wait for this bear to leave. And on the other side of things, the other team is just all trying to sleep in their tent, and Bridget gets attacked by a literal bat. Yeah, she gets swarmed by a bat, it grabs onto her face, and that causes her to burn their tent, so they have to sleep just on the ground. No tent, just in the pouring rain, and it sucks. And that's the entire episode. And Katie gets eliminated for some reason and not Bridget, even though Bridget literally caught their tent on fire. And yeah, that's pretty much the entire episode. Overall, a pretty lame, boring challenge. I understand why the episode exists. I understand why the challenge exists. It's not to be anything crazy. It's just to get you more used to all of the characters. So it's fine for what it is. As a challenge, still pretty lame though.
I kind of bet Owen that if I got your bra, he'd do all my dishes for the rest of the competition.
And coming in at number 23 is going to be from the episode Up the Creek. And this one is honestly a lot of fun. It's just kind of forgettable for me. Even when I'm like looking at all the other challenges just by the name and the title, I could remember them pretty vividly, but this one, it just for some reason always slips my mind. And it's not even that bad. In the episode, they have to go to Boney Island. Yeah, we have the Killer Bass and we have the Screaming Gophers, our two teams, all going to the scariest place on the planet, Boney Island. And when they get there, they have to get all the way to the other side of the island and create a rescue campfire, and the first team to do that wins the challenge. An actual pretty enjoyable premise, and Boney Island as a whole is really weird but also really entertaining. I mean, our first introduction to the place, we see like woolly beavers. Yeah, a little bit weird. I don't understand how these creatures can be here unless Chris is already messing with radioactivity, but either way, I enjoy it. It makes Boney Island a lot more enjoyable instead of it just being an island with a skull that has spooky things going on. But for the most part, we get just some good character interaction stuff. We get a lot of stuff with Gwen and Cody and Trent, and then a lot of stuff with DJ, Bridget, and Jeff. I think it's enjoyable to see more relationships form here. We get to see Cody's just desire and need for Gwen's bra just for a bit, and he also does kind of like her. But either way, we just get a lot of interactions with that, and eventually Cody's all like, I could get you on the ride, girl. The ride with Trent on the way back. All you gotta do is give me your bra.
If I got your bra, he'd do all my dishes for the rest of the competition.
And he does actually get it by the end of the episode, which is good for him. Go Cody. And then the other thing that I really liked about this episode was Jeff getting a splinter when they're all like working on the campfire. He gets a splinter on the way there, and it's so bad. Bridget's even all like, oh, I've seen people getting eaten by sharks, but this is horrifying. And they just all keep playing it up.
I've seen surfers get eaten by sharks before, but this was horrifying.
The man just kept going. Dude's got heart.
I thought that was hilarious. I loved it so much. And then you also have Beth here. And when Chris was specifically telling everybody about this island and the one thing you're not supposed to do on this island, don't take anything because the island is cursed, and Beth is just all like, look at this little tiki thing. Look at it. And then she takes it anyway, which leads to the whole like curse arc of the show where their team starts losing over and over and over again because Beth took the tiki. But either way, the episode ends with Izzy using like this like gooey sticky bomb to like light the fire first. They win, and then the entire elimination process is very weird because the RMCP shows up to hunt down Izzy.
Izzy, we know you are down there. You are under arrest.
You mean all that trash you were talking was true?
No, just the RCMP part. See ya! You'll never get me alive!
so Izzy is taken away, even though somebody else would have been voted out if it wasn't for this entire reason of the RMCP coming to take Izzy away. Yeah, very weird premise. Overall, a very decent challenge and a very decent episode. I just still think there are way better ones than this. That's why it's ranking pretty close to the bottom here.
Oh! Awesome!
And coming in at number 22 is going to be from the episode Not Quite Famous, and in this episode we get a talent show. It's going to be the Killer Bass versus the Screaming Gophers, and they have to select their 3 most talented members of the team to do something so talented that it scores well on the Chef-O-meter. A pretty basic premise for the episode, but I thought it was enjoyable nonetheless. The things that they decide to do are disgusting and elevate the characters to new levels of their character progression, so I mean, for the most part, it's pretty good. On the Screaming Gopher side, we're going to have Justin, who is just hot in his performance. That's all he really does. He just looks sexy. He scores pretty well. And then we're going to have Trent, who sings a heartfelt song playing his guitar all about Gwen. It's pretty good. It just, you know, like gets their relationship going a little bit more, and it makes Heather a little bit pissed off. And then there's Heather, who is supposed to just do ballet. But instead of doing ballet, she decides, I need to sneak into Gwen's little bed and steal her diary and read it out to the entire viewing world.
So I'm trying to ignore him, but he's just so cute.
The show probably has a lot of people watching it, and you decided to read out her entire diary about her feelings for Trent. Yeah, it's pretty fucked up. Why would you choose to do that at a talent show? She didn't even score that well. What was the point? Did you even want to win, or did you just want to ruin Gwen's life? I really like that she got a lot of karma at the end of the episode when Gwen poured fire ants down her bed and Heather ran away screaming. That was pretty good, but for the most part, it's just so messed up. Why would you even decide to do that? Didn't you want to win? Or did you just think your ballet performance would have been that shitty that you would have gotten the same score either way? I don't really know. And then we go over to the Killer Bass, which just has DJ doing a little ribbon dance, and he messes up bad. And then we have Bridget, who decides to eat a bunch of chips before doing a headstand performance. Yeah, a headstand performance. I can't believe nobody had anything better than that. But either way, because she ate these chips, she just starts throwing up everywhere while upside down. Yeah, visually pretty disgusting. Didn't expect that. And then for the final performance, it was supposed to be Courtney, but the violin that she was going to use gets broken, so Harold has to be a last-minute sub. He comes in there, and he just starts beatboxing like a goddamn legend.
Awesome!
Wins that challenge, and then Justin is sent home at the end. Overall, I think it's a lot of fun. I wish they would have done more interesting things with all of the characters' talents, because I mean, the only ones that I actually thought were really enjoyable were Trent and Harold. Everything else was just kind of, okay. That happened. Some of it was just to progress a lot of character stuff, but for the majority, it was just kind of boring, which is why I'm ranking it a little bit lower. I still think this episode is great. I just think they could have done a lot more with all of the characters having more unique talents.
Time's up! Chef, remove the poison ivy!
No. It feels great.
And coming in at number 21 is going to be from the episode No Pain, No Game. And this is basically the torture episode, because that's just the entire idea of it. You have to spin a wheel, and whatever it lands on, you have to last 10 seconds doing that torture, and that's the entire challenge. The last person in who doesn't give up on their torture for the 10 seconds is the winner. And we get a lot of good scenes out of this, but I also want to point out the fact that Eva and Izzy came back in this episode. Izzy, I kind of understand because she was never really eliminated from the show, so it made sense to bring her back. But Eva, I didn't get it at all. Why would you bring her back just for one episode, just for her to torment Bridget the entire time? What was the point of it? And of all the characters, wouldn't you bring back Courtney, the one character who got sabotaged because of Harold? Is there just no care by the show's producer or Chris? I mean, Duncan even points out the fact that when Courtney got eliminated, it didn't make any sense, but either way, they decided to bring back Eva, who I don't find, like, funny at all. I don't find her entertaining at all. She didn't help amplify the episode at all. But either way, let's get to the actual challenge. It's all about just spinning that wheel. All of our characters get to do it. We get some fun gags here. Mainly, I like Duncan's spin, where he has to just survive this like hockey puck of snapping turtles being shot at him.
And Duncan moves on to the next round.
I thought that was pretty funny. That was pretty good. And then you just have Bridget suffering the entire time because Eva keeps picking all the things for her. Bridget eventually turns it on Eva and she fights a Sasquatch and just rips him apart. Yeah, that was pretty gruesome. And then the main thing that I enjoyed was Izzy and all of her challenges, because she just likes it so much and she just chooses to get all the pain and all the torture because she wants to try it, which ends up eliminating herself. Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Time's up. Chef, remove the poison ivy.
No, no. It feels great.
You stuck it out, but sadly, you eliminated yourself.
And then we eventually get all the way down to just Lashana and Eva, and Lashana has to do one challenge, and if she completes it, she wins the entire thing. And she has to do log rolling against a grizzly bear who is apparently like a Russian champion who could beat anybody when it came to log rolling, and he loses to Lashana.
And that's how I roll!
Who's probably never done this in her entire life. Either way, that was a bit unrealistic, but hey, it's total drama. It could be unrealistic for me. Overall, it's a fun challenge. I enjoy it. Lashana manages to last, wins the challenge, and they vote off Eva, because why would they keep her? I don't know why they brought her back in the first place just for one episode, just to torment Bridget a little bit. But either way, good challenge, some fun stuff. Definitely not the best, but definitely not the worst.
Maybe Gwen thinks your music sucks, but I think you're really talented.
And coming in at number 20, it's going to be from the episode Search and Do Not Destroy. And the main task of this challenge is to find the key. That's all you really have to do. So each of our campers have to just go around and find all their different keys, which are hidden in a bunch of different locations. And I think we get a lot of good scenes out of this. I mean, we have Trent diving into these sharks using a fish to lure all them away and getting his key first. We have Heather, who has to try to get a key from Chef's fridge, and we get a lot of good scenes from that, mainly Lindsay helping Heather get it by sneaking down through the ceiling using a rope and almost getting caught. I thought it was great. And then you have Owen trying to get his key from a bear and just starts snuggling and cuddling up with his bear, and he's just like, oh crap, and he's just struggling immensely. Oh, crap! And then you have Trent helping Gwen get her key, and he smooches Trent for being such a stand-up, helpful guy. Their relationship is finally blossoming. Oh my gosh! But then you have Heather's ultimate plot to ruin that and throw away everything when she tricks Trent into thinking that Gwen doesn't actually like him, and she kisses Trent in front of Gwen.
Talented.
Which crushes Gwen's heart. Oh, the relationship turmoil, I just can't handle it. But either way, eventually everybody does get their keys, whether it was Jeff diving in a septic tank or DJ climbing up a tree. They all get their keys, and they all open a bunch of different treasure chests that have a bunch of different things. Some of them have nothing, some of them have chips, some of them are literally just worthless. But the main thing here is that Heather got the invincibility, so she obviously can't be voted off, and the one who was voted off is Trent, because everybody thinks that he's a cheating dirtbag, but in reality, it was just Heather playing them all for fools. Overall, it was a lot of fun. It's pretty good challenges. It's just more character progression stuff mixed with a lot of good scenes of getting all of those keys. I think it keeps you entertained the entire time and definitely makes for a good episode.
11 minutes of isolation, and Mr. Coconut and I have decided to live in the outhouse.
And coming in at number 19 is going to be from the episode Camp Castaways, and this episode is honestly fine. I don't even know if you would really call this a challenge. I guess it was a challenge, because all of the campers, that being Duncan, Owen, Heather, and Gwen, they are the final four, and they are the only ones left. A storm comes along and washes them all downstream, and so they all have to try to survive downstream for a little bit. And I think we get a lot of good scenes here, mainly from Owen, who was just in a porta potty when all this was happening, and when he finally decides to get out of the porta potty, he realizes that he's just floating in the sea, and this causes him to just go full Tom Hanks Castaway mode, where he just rips off all of his clothes, he grows a beard in the matter of hours, and just starts going a little bit crazy talking to a coconut.
And Mr. Coconut and I have decided to live in the outhouse where it's safe. Headhunters!
I think he's a major highlight of the episode. And then you have Duncan, Gwen, and Heather, who are just basically arguing over the time, whether that be over food, a raft, whatever it is. Heather manages to be the only one in the cabin still, and has Owen's stash of food, and she's refusing to let anybody else have it. It's just a bunch of drama between the three of them, until Owen eventually shows up, they get chased by a snake, and they're all stuck up there, and they have to all reveal their sins, which isn't shown to us for some reason in a drama show. They decide to not let us know all of this, deep character lore stuff. That was kind of whatever. I guess that's the joke of it. Then eventually they see smoke off in the distance, and they're like, oh, we should go check it out. We should go see what that's all about. And so Owen drops his coconut on the snake's head. They all rush over there, and Chris is just like, oh, you guys finally got here. Yeah. And that's the entire challenge. Nobody gets voted off. I think it's fun. We get some good character interaction stuff, some good comedy stuff here, mainly just because of Owen, and just a little bit from Duncan, Gwen, and Heather. The majority of it is just fine, nothing too special, nothing too crazy, but overall just a decent challenge and a decent episode. Even if you don't really consider this a challenge, I still thought it was pretty entertaining for the most part.
But these are kind of special.
It's beef testicle bourguignon.
Testicle?
And coming in at number 18, it's going to be from the episode Brunch of Disgustingness, and this is actually a really fun one. Here we have the boys versus the girls. There's 5 of them each, and they each have to eat something that is extremely disgusting in order to win the challenge. And we get a lot of good scenes from this. The first one is one that I just will always have just stuck in my memory, just because I think it's so funny and the concept just works so well. Because the first dish that they have to eat a 9-course meal. I should probably preface that. And the first course is bull testicles. Yeah, some Rocky Mountain oysters, and just watching all the guys' reactions to it is just so funny. And even when they're just staring at all the balls, they just decide to do this little cutaway of this bull just crying because he doesn't have testicles anymore. They did not need to add that in, but it genuinely makes me laugh every single time I see it, because it's just so funny.
But these are kind of special.
It's beef testicle bourguignon.
Testicle?
And then you just have them struggling to eat the testicles. The girls are doing a little bit better because they're just okay with eating them balls. And then the boys just can't do it. They just can't do that to their bovine brethren. And so they lose and the girls win. And then we just keep going on to more disgusting and more disgusting things. The girls are able to lose the pizza with grasshoppers on it, and the boys are able to do that one a little bit better. And then we just get a montage of a bunch of different gross things being fed to all these people. The one that genuinely makes me go is when Chef grabs a skunk and squeezes out all of its juices and shakes it up, and they have to drink it.
Don't let them gross you out. Don't let them push you down. Stand up tall.
I don't understand that. I feel like you die. I would never do something like that. But either way, we eventually get all the way to the final, and the final meal is a dolphin hot dog. And nobody really wants to eat it, and Bridget's reaction is, but dolphins are our friends. And I mean, you're kind of right, but dolphins aren't that nice, Bridget. They're actually very mean creatures when you take that into consideration, when they're not, trained by humans. But either way, Bridget and DJ refuse, so they decide to do a tiebreaker round where Lashana and Owen both have to take shots of cockroach juices. Yeah, really disgusting. But you just watch Owen's face as he just phases out of reality, and he's just and he manages to put them all down and win the challenge. boys win, they get to go to a resort as a reward, and the girls lose. Sucks to be them. Overall, one of the most fun challenges in the entire show. It's disgusting, it's horrifying, but it's very entertaining.
What's that, Mr. Ribs? You feel a bit lopsided?
Oh, mama, that's good.
And coming in at number 17, it's going to be from the episode If You Can't Take the Heat, and it's the cooking challenge. And this is also a really fun one. We are back to having the team format, so it's the Killer Bass and the Screaming Gophers, and they all have to make a 3-course meal for Chris, and he's going to rate it out of 10, and the team with the best overall score at the end is going to be the winner. And we get a lot of drama here, a lot of good stuff. I mean, for the most part, all the stuff with the Killer Bass is just kind of whatever. We get some Courtney and Duncan bonding moments. They're actually just cooking the food, and they actually all just prepare a pretty decent meal for Chris, and he actually enjoys it for the most part. I mean, Duncan and Courtney make a mid-meal. They make some spaghetti. It's fine. Chris likes it. He enjoys it. And then on the other hand, with the Screaming Gophers, that's where the majority of the drama for the episode really comes from, because I mean, when you have Gwen, Lashana, and Heather all in a kitchen trying to cook with each other, it's going to get a little bit heated. And in this case, it genuinely does, because Heather becomes a warden, tries to take over the entire challenge. She's even ordering Lashana to cut pineapples when Lashana is allergic to pineapples. Yeah, it's a little bit messed up. So she's getting on everybody's nerves there. And this eventually leads to Heather trying to take over as flambe and trying to flambe the dessert, which causes her entire head to just catch on fire, burning her eyebrows off. So she orders Owen to go get the makeup bag. Owen shows up, Lashana snags it, throws it to Gwen, throws it to Lindsay, and Lindsay has to make the ultimate choice, because at this point in the show, Lindsay and Heather are tight-knit BFFs. And Lindsay decides to do the right thing and throws the makeup bag into the freezer, and Heather runs after it, and they lock Heather in the freezer.
Hey! You can't do this! I'm head chef! Do you think Heather's really mad at us? I will destroy you!
And you probably think, oh wow, well, their cooking skills must get a little bit better now that they could finally be a team. No, it just goes pretty downhill, because they make a stack of some fat, juicy looking ribs, and they tell Owen to guard it. Yeah, Owen. What do you think Owen does with all that food?
What's that, Mr. Ribs? You feel a bit lopsided?
Oh, mama, that's good.
He eats it all. He eats the entire plate of ribs, a full stack of them, just munching them all down, leaving just a small smidge for Chris. Chris obviously isn't going to like that very much. And then the dessert that Chris tries to take a bite out of just implodes right in front of him. And so the Killer Bass, even though they honestly had a cooking experience other than the spaghetti, win the challenge. And then we have our elimination for the episode being Beth, because it's revealed that she was using the tiki doll that she took from Boney Island, which is just so stupid to me, because in this show they have so many opportunities to get rid of Heather, but they're just like, oh, let's get rid of the glasses girl because she had a tiki doll instead of this massive bitch. Like, I never got it. But either way, overall a really fun challenge. There's a lot to like about it. I mean, it's just a cooking episode. If you're into cooking stuff, it's a lot of fun, and it's just dramatized to all living hell, so it's a good time.
Boobies.
And coming in at number 16 is going to be from the episode Extreme Torture, and it is truly some extreme torture. This is a 3-part challenge. You have sofa skydiving, moose riding, and then jet ski, mud, water skiing. Yeah, it's all very weird, but it's all very good. I mean, the first part of it, you just have Trent trying to land on this sofa while skydiving, and he just misses and plants it on the ground. DJ makes it, and he wins that round. And then you go to the moose riding, and that's where stuff gets a little bit more crazy. Not because of the actual moose riding, really, but mainly just because of what Jeff decides to do here. Jeff hops up on the moose, and he decides that this is an amazing time to drop his pants and show Bridget his ass tattoo. What a time. He's literally standing on top of a moose, and he's like, I bet this shotty over here wants to see my ass tat, and just drops his pants, and of course the challenge starts, and he gets flung naked off of the moose, and I think it's really funny. It's definitely one of the best jokes in the episode.
Want to see that tat?
Whoa!
And then you just go over to the actual mud skiing, and Harold is competing going against Heather. Heather's trying to knock him off of the water ski, and Harold's trying to collect all these flags, and Harold is doing a really good job at this challenge. And Heather decides that she's going to try and sabotage him, but she's not paying attention to this tree. This tree grabs her top, rips it off, and Harold gets to see her chonkala-donkalas, gets to see those boobies, and he is just so mesmerized by Heather's tits that he just can't handle it. And he loses the challenge, but he goes down a winner. And they lose because Lindsay does really good on her turn, so they lose the ultimate challenge, and Harold gets voted off, but he doesn't care because he got to see boobs, and then he gets to kiss Lashana. So in the same day, he got to see Heather, and he got to kiss Lashana. It was just a good day for our man Harold, even though he doesn't get that sweet cash. Overall, a really fun episode, a couple of really good challenges. The Sova skydiving one was kind of whatever. I only liked the moose one because of the whole Jeff thing, and the final one was just really funny because of Heather, you know, losing her top. That was really good. Definitely not something you would expect to see in a kid's show. They even changed Harold saying boobies to him saying booyah. Yeah, it's really funny. It's really good. Definitely deserves its spot though.
Boobies.
You don't see that every day.
No, you don't, my man. No, you don't.
And coming in at number 13 from the episode Who Can You Trust is a trust exercise challenge where they have to do a bunch of different things that all revolve around the premise of trust. The first challenge is where things get a little bit interesting, so they just have to rock climb, and their supporter, the other cast member, just has to hold the line and hold them up. And Chris has a bunch of booby traps on the rock, so visually it's a lot of fun, but where it takes a little bit of a turn is when Heather is trying to pull a prank on Gwen because they are the two working together. She attaches another rope to Gwen's harness, and Gwen is like, what does this do? And later on when she's climbing, Heather decides to pull that rope, and it rips Gwen's pants off, it rips her skirt off, and DJ is the one that's competing against Gwen, and he sees her goth ass and just is like, oh, and just falls all the way down, which causes them to lose the challenge, and Gwen wins mainly because of her ass being shown to the entire viewing world.
This bites.
I mean, hey, if it gets you the win, be happy with it, I guess. And then you have Trent and Lindsay competing against Bridget and Jeff in a trust exercise where they have to cut this blowfish, and it's a very poisonous blowfish. The only thing about it is you have to cut a very specific thing in order for it to not be poisonous. Bridget does it perfectly, but Lindsay poisons Trent, and he's just left on the ground, like, literally seizing. I felt so bad for this guy.
I said I took biology. Ew!
And then you have the final challenge, which is just, you know, trying to knock an arrow off the head using apples. Yep, and Sadie just starts pelting Courtney with it just nonstop. And Courtney decides that Sadie needs to get voted out because she didn't even win the challenge. She just berated Courtney with apples. And so Sadie is voted off. That's the entire challenge. It's a lot of fun. All three of the challenges were really entertaining. They were all super good. A lot of fun. Made for some great TV and some great character moments.
Wait, is that Brownies?
And coming in at number 14 is going to be the finale of the show. It's going to be Owen going up against Gwen for the $100,000. And instead of doing a voting version, which I thought they were going to do because they made it seem like they were going to do that the entire time, it's just one giant obstacle course. It's going to test your mentality, your physicality, and everything. And Gwen is doing a really good job. I guess it depends on what version you're watching that you inevitably get the winner. But just watching them go through this entire obstacle course is a lot of fun. You have the final bonding between Trent and Gwen that cements their actual relationship, where Trent is just carrying a rock trying to prove that he loves Gwen.
What are you doing?
Proving my feelings for you.
By carrying a boulder?
It's not easy, you know.
The entire time, you have Owen struggling with the majority of it. He even can't resist sexy Justin.
Oh, wow.
So beautiful. No words.
He's struggling, and then eventually for my version in the United States, Owen is able to pick up the win and get all the way to the finish line before Gwen because Heather makes some brownies that summons Owen's inner strength, and Owen wins. And that's the entire thing. If your version was Gwen winning, that's great. I think she was honestly the correct winner compared to, you know, everybody turning on Gwen because Owen was going to throw a party. But either way, it's pretty fun. It's definitely not what I wanted from the finale of the show. I thought it was going to be a voting thing. I'm glad that they did that in season 2. But overall, I still think it was a lot of fun. Definitely deserves to be higher up on the list. It was a good finale for the show. Definitely not a bad one.
I can't believe they stole all of our supplies.
Never underestimate a known criminal.
And coming in at number 11, it's going to be Owen and Duncan versus Gwen and Heather once again in a boys versus girls match, the final 4, competing to race and touch this totem back at camp first after getting dropped in the wilderness. And we get a lot of good stuff from this. I mean, it's just boys versus girls. They all try to like work together at first, trying to just, you know, have a little bit of alliance, but Heather and Gwen steal the map back to camp, and then we just get this montage of them just stealing from each other over and over and over again. And it's just a lot of fun with them just running around, having unique traps, just trying to continuously take the stuff that they need to survive from each other. It's a lot of fun. And eventually we do get that final race where they go to touch the totem, and Heather and Gwen manage to get there just before Duncan and Owen.
Sticky buns! Oh,
and Duncan gets voted off. It's a really fun episode, a really fun challenge. It's very simple. I mean, it's just getting dropped in the wilderness and having to get back to camp first. I enjoy it for the most part. You have Heather and Gwen actually being a team, which is something you don't really get to see for the entire series, so I can enjoy that. Duncan and Owen are always a great time, and yeah, it's a very good one. I enjoy it.
And you're the only thing standing between me and victory. Still, I love you. Oh, that's smart!
And coming in at number 15 is going to be from the episode Wawa and Aqua Gone Wild. And the entire premise of this challenge is just everybody pulls a animal out of a hat, and they have to go and capture that animal and bring them back unharmed. And I enjoy it a lot. You have Owen trying to get this little chipmunk, but you know, chipmunks are in the trees, so he goes up there and things just go wrong for him there.
Still, I love you. Oh, that's smart!
You have Heather, who has to attempt to capture a bear. You have Duncan, who has to attempt to capture a raccoon, and the raccoon just forms into this giant like transformation raccoon machine thing. I didn't understand why any of that was happening, but I love it nonetheless. Why can raccoons all come together and form a giant machine, and they start chasing after Duncan and trying to murder him?
That's more than meets the eye.
But Duncan still manages to get a raccoon. You have Gwen trying to capture a duck. You have LaShawna trying to capture a frog. Yeah, just a lot of good stuff. It's just really fun to watch everybody go around and try to capture these animals. It's really enjoyable, and Gwen manages to do it first, and then you just have everybody else trying to do it before everybody else, and Duncan decides that he's going to try to help Heather get that bear because he's trying to form a little alliance, and he uses tranq darts and accidentally tranquilizes Heather, and so Heather is just, you know, paralyzed for the rest of the episode.
They're hot, wearing deer antlers.
And Duncan is the one who has to clean the toilets, and that's pretty much the entire thing. I thought it was pretty good for the most part. It's just enjoyable to watch everybody doing their own thing and just going and catching those animals.
That was $1 million, you stupid beavers!
Coming in at number 10, it's going to be from the episode Total Drama, 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 Drama Island, and it's just the chase for the $1 million briefcase. And immediately, the one thing that I don't like about this challenge, about this episode, is that it completely just voids everything that we had ever seen in the past 27 episodes of the show. It basically makes all of Total Drama just useless, because in the first place, they could have just been like, hey, all of you compete for this $1 million briefcase all at the same exact time, and whoever has it at the end of the day wins. That could have been the entire premise, but no, we got to watch 26 episodes that all lead to Owen or Gwen, depending on where you live in the world, not even getting the money, and them all fighting over this briefcase, which just leads to the next season. But it doesn't take away from the fact that watching them all fight over this one briefcase is really entertaining. We get a bunch of different alliances as they're all trying to get this $1 million briefcase, just all over the island, all trying to do a bunch of different things, running away from animals. Just Harold and Heather even team up.
That was $1 million, you stupid beavers!
You have Courtney and Duncan.
Come on, give it up!
You have Gwen and Trent. You have all these different teams forming, trying to get the briefcase. And we get so many great comedic scenes, so many great tense scenes all over this briefcase. And it eventually all leads to a bunch of them all just holding onto it at the same time. They all get flooded down, fall into the water. And Chris is all like, hey, all of you guys that are stuck down here in the water, every single one of you is going to compete in total drama action, the next season of the show, and that's what the entire thing was for. I think it's a lot of fun. It's a 40-minute episode. You get to see every single character try to get that briefcase, trying their best to hold on to it and to get that $1 million, and then it all has a pretty good ending that just builds into the next season in a very interesting way. Instead of just being like, hey, this is a brand new season, it actually gives you a reason for a new season with the same cast, and I enjoyed that a lot. I think it's a great episode, and I think it's just a really good episode to see all of our characters one more time.
You just bought yourself 20 more push-ups.
Thank you!
And coming in at number 9, it's going to be from the episode Basics Training. And this challenge is literally just boot camp. It's just Chef putting everybody through the tortures of boot camp. It's endurance challenges, it's gross challenges, it's dancing challenges. I really like Chef's little dance here, making everybody do a little jig. And the only way that they could stop boot camp is if somebody drops out. That's the only time that they could stop for the day. Otherwise, they're just going to keep on going. And normally, I would have ranked this episode a lot lower. But Duncan just makes this episode so much better because the entire time, he's just trying to piss off Chef. He even kisses him at one point. Yeah, it's all just so funny.
You just bought yourself 20 more push-ups.
Thank you!
He just keeps on fucking with the guy, and I just love it so much. It makes the entire episode that much more enjoyable, and they just keep on doing all these different challenges that on their own are really enjoyable. I mean, I really like Chef's little jiggy here. He's getting down, he's dancing it up, they're just getting down with it. I enjoy it. All these challenges don't really make any sense, but they're all enjoyable. They're all just basically endurance tests. I can enjoy it, and then eventually you just get these scenes with Courtney and Duncan acting up, with Courtney trying to be a bad girl, and they steal a bunch of stuff from their fridge, and then we just get that final challenge where they just have to hang from a tree. Everybody drops out except for Gwen. Gwen wins, and then we get that whole scene at the end where Harold messes with the entire challenge because they've just been pranking Harold way too much, and he gets Courtney eliminated by sabotaging and messing with the vote. Overall, a really good episode that is just taken way more up there just because of Duncan. He just makes all the challenge scenes that much better because without Duncan, you know, kissing Chef, making fun of Chef, just, you know, messing with Chef the entire time, all these challenges would just kind of be a little bit dull and a little bit boring. So Duncan definitely just elevates this all the way up to the number 9 spot for me.
Like how you're a two-faced, backstabbing, lying little...
And coming in at number 8, it's going to be from the episode Off the Chain, and it's going to be the bike competition, where each member of the cast has to build a bike and then race that said bike. And it's just enjoyable. I mean, it's kind of down to earth until we get to the actual race stuff. It's just everybody building their bikes, and then Chris goes around, takes a look at all of them. They're all pretty nice. They're all pretty good.
Now this is a hot rod. Nice! I call her Bridget.
And then we get the big old twist that they're going to swap bikes for the race, and they're all racing each other's bikes. We get a couple of really good wipeouts. And only 4 of them make it to the finish line, and the final 4 are going to compete for immunity. And we get one more really good race out of this with some more crazy wipeouts between Duncan and Owen. And it's down to just Lindsay and Heather, and they both managed to cross the finish line, but because Heather crossed first and Lindsay crossed last, and because Duncan and Owen wiped out, Lindsay technically crossed last, which means Lindsay's going to be out. That was probably the only part of the episode that I didn't enjoy, because it made no sense. Just because somebody doesn't finish a race, it doesn't mean that they're not competing. Like, it should have been Duncan or Owen losing because they didn't even cross the finish line. Why would you have this random clause that, oh, if you cross the finish finish line last, but the two people behind you didn't cross the finish line at all. You still lose. Why wouldn't she just wipe out on her own then, and then Heather could have lost? It doesn't make any sense, but it doesn't take away from the fact that this challenge as a whole was really enjoyable, even though Lindsay got screwed. The building the bikes was really good, the first race was really good, and the second race was also really good. I enjoyed it a lot.
Like how you're a two-faced, backstabbing, lying little... Well, what exactly is your phobia?
Celine Dion music store standees.
And coming in at number 7, it's going to be from the episode Phobia Factor, and it's going to be the challenge Phobia Factor, which I really like the opening of this episode, where they're all just sitting around the campfire telling all of their fears, and the producers decide to use this against them and make the challenge where each member of the cast has to face their fear, and if they're able to conquer it, they earn a point for their team. And that's basically it. We just get to watch all of our campers going through their biggest fear. We have Gwen getting buried alive, Trent has to deal with a mime chasing him and following him around. Duncan has one of the funniest fears in the entire episode, where he's afraid of Celine Dion music store standees. What the fuck does that even mean? Why are you scared of them? It's just so good. And then they eventually bring it out. He's like, that looks really real, man. Like, why is that what you're afraid of?
She's pretty. She's nice.
Just one hug, and you're done.
What could have caused this guy to be afraid of that standee? What happened in his life to make him scared of that? But either way, they just keep going with a bunch of different fears. Harold being afraid of ninjas, but he's able to overcome it. Lashana being afraid of giant spiders. Yeah, there's just a lot of stuff going on in this episode that's all really good. And it eventually gets to Tyler, whose fear is chickens.
Into this pen for 3 minutes with these chickens.
Yeah, I don't know why. They're just balking and cocking and being like little cocks. I don't know why you're that scared of them. But either way, Tyler fails that, so everybody's a little mad at Tyler. And then Courtney is afraid of green jelly. And this is the part of the episode that always really confused me. I get it. Being afraid of chickens is really lame and all that. But Courtney had an opportunity to tie it up and win the entire challenge because Chris is all like, Courtney, if you could do this, I'll give you triple points. Okay, so you'd think she's probably going to end up doing it because that would tie it up and there's going to be a tiebreaker at the end. No, Courtney doesn't want to dive into this giant thing of green snot jelly, and so they vote off Tyler because he's afraid of chickens? Come on, man. Courtney literally cost you all of those points. I don't understand it. But either way, it's a really good episode. I like seeing all of their different fears, all of the like relationships, and just trying to deal with it all. There were just so many great character moments for every single character because every single character had to deal with their fear in one way or another.
You'll never get me alive!
And coming in at number 6 is going to be from the episode Hide and Be Sneaky, and it's obviously going to be a game of hide and sneak. And I love this episode so much because there's just so much great character stuff. There's so many great comedy moments, and I love all their hiding spots. I love everything they do with Chef, just hunting them down, just being that military man that he could be, and just trying to capture all of them. And I love the premise of it. It's just a game of hide and seek. You could try to get back to home base, and if you get there before Chef catches you, then you could win. If you help like Chef find people, then you could also gain invincibility. There's just a lot to like about it. You have the guys all forming an alliance in this episode. You have Izzy following Chef around, which leads to a climactic brawl between the two of them, literally fighting as Izzy tries to race all the way back to the home base just for Chef to knock her into the water. You have Lashana being the only super intelligent one and hiding in the water underneath the dock at home base. That was extremely clever. You have Jeff climbing a tree. You have Gwen hiding in the grass. You have Owen and DJ fighting over one spot just to fall through the ceiling.
Mine! Do you have any idea how hard it was for me to get up here?
Look, we're tight and all, but...
DJ, are you okay?
You have Lindsay just spazzing out and freaking out and not understanding hide and seek and not knowing where to hide at all, and they all eventually get captured, but then Lashana pulls it through, gets that win because she had the smartest, best spot. I enjoyed it so much. It was great. Chef just going around hunting everybody is just always so much fun. Chef is a great character and makes for a great episode, and I think just the main highlight of the entire episode was just Izzy, just literally at the beginning following him around just to lead to this brawl between the two of them. It's so great. And Bridget was the one who got caught by Chef, and she got sprayed by skunks in the process, and that meant that she was going to get eliminated because nobody liked the way that she smelled, so she just had to be ostracized and kicked off of the island. And it's overall a really fun episode. They made hide and seek one of the most entertaining episodes of the entire season, so I had to rank it up this high.
You better have a really good reason for sticking this up my nose.
And coming in at number 5 from the episode Dodge Brawl, it's going to be the Dodgeball Challenge. And it's another one that is really simple. I mean, it's just a game of dodgeball, but you have all these unique characters with their unique personalities that all mesh really well together to give you a really entertaining game of dodgeball. I mean, the entire premise of it is just, you know, throwing balls. There's not much to it, but everything they do with this is just so great. I mean, you have Harold here who just keeps like repeatedly not being able to show his talents, not being able to go back in just for him to save the day at the end. You have Duncan who's hot off the big sleep, who just wants to sleep the entire time, and then Courtney forces him to go in there, and he just uses all of his skills to make his team just a menace, just a nightmare for the other team, and just starts destroying everybody. It's so entertaining. It's so good. You get so many great character moments from so many great characters. Like, you get Cody moments here. You get Noah being a little prick. You just get such great stuff from a simple game of dodgeball. This was one that definitely needed to be earlier on in the season because it was just doing a great job at showcasing all of the characters in a fun game of dodgeball. And that just climactic finish where it's Harold versus Owen, and Harold's able to pull it out and get the win for the entire team. You gotta love it. It's some great stuff. And Noah obviously is going to be eliminated because he's a little piece of shit and was just telling his team to do great the entire time when he didn't get in once. Yeah, you deserve to be eliminated here. So it's overall a amazing episode with a really simple premise, but the entire just dodgeball thing, it definitely worked for me, and it was definitely one of the better ones of season 1.
Ow! Oh, that was totally uncalled for. Man, I am so out of here.
And coming in at number 4 is going to be from the episode Hook, Line, and Screamer. And it's a psycho killer challenge where they're all trying to survive against the psycho killer with a chainsaw and a hook. How are they going to do it? Well, they start off by just watching the scary movie that's a part of the challenge for some reason, which gets them all in that scary movie vibe. And then eventually, Chris is just seen leaving, scared, terrified. He drops a newspaper that says a escaped convict has escaped from a prison and is on the island and is going to try to hunt them all down. And this psycho killer turns out to just be Chef in a mask, and he's trying to chase down all of them and get them all and capture all of them and take them all back to the tent. And if they get back to the tent by getting chased by him, then they will lose the challenge. And it's mainly just Gwen and Duncan here at first with everybody else, and they're just trying to tell them all the cliches on how to survive, and everybody just keeps doing the exact cliche and keeps getting caught by Chef. And all of it is just so entertaining. I mean, you have Owen and Izzy going out in the forest alone, making out, and so of course they're going to be the first ones captured. They run away, they're trying to escape him, and Owen literally shoves Izzy into Chef. So if this was a real killer, he would have just shoved her into him and just got her killed for no reason.
Owen's too young to die. Here, take Izzy.
Like, dude, come on, man. You finally got to make out with her. Like, do a little something for yourself. But either way, they both lose right away. Jeff abandons him just for a little bit, which leads to DJ seeing Heather doing all of her, like, skin routine stuff, and he finds Heather so revolting, so disgusting, that he runs away into the tent, and he just doesn't even have to, you know, get caught by Chef.
DJ,
He just, you know, sees Heather. That was pretty much it. And then Heather also gets captured by Chef when Chef, stops the water, gets Heather, and then Chef goes and gets Jeff, and then eventually Duncan has this awesome showdown against Chef, battling him and defeating Chef with a chainsaw, and that's how Duncan basically wins. He's able to defeat the Psycho Killer.
Thought you could scare me?
Gwen is just sick of all of this because nobody listened to her, so she's just at the snack area just having a sandwich, and that's when a random man who actually has a chainsaw and a hook and turns out to be a real escaped convict is after Gwen, and everybody runs to save her, and Gwen just starts kicking him in the face repeatedly and defeats the actual Psycho Killer, and I love his reaction to that because it's just so out of left field for a guy that has a hook and a chainsaw and is here to kill people. Yeah, I love it either way.
Ow! Oh, that was totally uncalled for!
And DJ gets eliminated because he was just a baby bitch, and so he had to go away. And overall, it's a really fun episode. I mean, anything with Psycho Killers is always a lot of fun. I really like that they just make fun of all the cliches, and the way everybody gets captured is a lot of fun, so it's definitely going to earn that number 4 spot.
Beans. Owen! Nice try, Spartacus! You almost had me!
Coming in at number 3, it's going to be from the episode Paintball Deer Hunter, and it's going to be Paintball Deer Hunting. And just all of the good scenes, all of the good character interactions, everything we get from this episode is just pure gold. That's why I'm ranking it up this high. There's just so much to like about it. It's again, kind of a simple premise. The hunters are all designated as hunters. They get paintball guns, and they have to hunt the other competitors who are dressed up as deer. And Owen is a main highlight of this episode once again, where he literally covers himself in piss to disguise himself, yeah, so that he could chase down those deer.
Masking my scent so the deer don't smell me coming.
Tell me that isn't
Pee? Yes! Yes, it is!
He takes it super seriously, and he's trying to hunt people like Duncan and like DJ, and it's just so good. It's so funny, especially with the way DJ responds to this whole thing, literally turning himself basically into a deer. He's even eating grass, he's prancing, he's doing all this stuff, and having Owen be so serious trying to take him down just makes it all the more enjoyable.
The hunter moves in, aware of every proton in his environment. Ah, crap! It's on, DJ!
And then on the other hand, you have a lot of stuff going on with Heather and Lindsay and Beth is just sick of helping Heather out all the time and eventually stands up to her and literally shoots her in the leg with a paintball, and Heather's just like, Charlie horse! It's all so good.
you! Give me your gun! Give it! Ow! Charlie horse! Girl, you crazy.
It's so enjoyable, and it makes for a really good episode with them just trying to hunt them all down. And again, we get some more good character stuff with like Courtney and Duncan bonding. Well, bonding in this episode, they're at each other's throats, but just good stuff with all of them. And I enjoy this one a lot. That's why I'm ranking it up this high. The only thing that I will say I genuinely dislike about this challenge and about this episode as a whole is the fact that Cody's elimination is just so stupid. He gets mauled by a bear. Yeah, he gets mauled by a bear, and instead of doing like a medical evacuation, they decide to still have a vote with this guy that has all of his bones in his body broken, is just reduced to nothing. He literally can't even do anything. Why do we even have a vote? Why not just get rid of him? Why are you gonna make all his teammates have to vote him out like that? I didn't understand that at all. But for the majority of the episode, I enjoyed it a lot. I love paintball deer hunting. There's just so much to enjoy about this one.
Beans. Owen! Nice try, Spartacus! You almost had me!
Did I mention that I ate the entire dish of baked beans and maple syrup? Funny thing about baked beans, they make me sleepwalk.
And coming in at number 2 is going to be from the episode The Big Sleep, and it's the Awake-a-thon. A very simple premise. All you have to do is stay awake longer than any other camper, and your team will be the winner. And all of the stuff that we get from this episode, with just such a simple challenge premise, is just so good. So many comedic moments, so many good character bonding moments, that I have to rank it up this high, even though it's not the craziest challenge out there. I mean, first of all, you have Tyler, who's trying to stay awake, so much so that he starts hallucinating, and that's when he sees Sadie and Katie get mauled by a bear. but it's just all in his head and he starts screaming. Yeah, that was really good. That was really funny. And then you also have Owen, who falls asleep, but then he rolls away and starts sleepwalking, but he gets naked and starts jumping with the fishes in the water in the river and just floating downstream, and it's beautiful. It's great.
I know the one. You like that movie?
And it's so funny. And then you have Justin, who everybody thinks is just a god at staying awake. He's just doing so well because he's just standing there doing one pose. He has his eyes wide open, and they eventually go up to him, and it turns out that he painted his eyes so that it looks like he's always awake, and he's for some reason able to just stay standing but also sleep.
Look at the concentration.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. And then you just have a bunch of other like character things going on, like Gwen and Trent bonding, trying to stay awake together. And then you have Heather stealing Eva's MP3 player to just, you know, try to get rid of her later on. You have Chris trying to do all these things to make them all fall asleep, like counting sheep, reading an encyclopedia, doing all these different things just to make them all fall asleep. And we eventually get down to just Gwen and Duncan going against each other, and Duncan goes to take a shit and he doesn't return for a while. They eventually like knock on the door, and Duncan has fallen asleep on the can, making Gwen the winner of the big sleep.
Duncan, you in there, man?
It's such a simple episode, but the way that they just go about it makes it so entertaining and one of the best challenges in the entire show. I really like it, and Eva does end up getting eliminated, all because of Heather tricking her by stealing the MP3 player. It's great. It's all good. Very good stuff. I enjoy it. Definitely deserves to be up this high.
Bro, my dog digs this food. Time to find out what I've been missing.
And coming in at number 1, the best challenge in all of Total Drama has to be I Triple Dog Dare You from the episode I Triple Dog Dare You. This one is so much fun, mainly because this entire challenge just slowly turns into a Heather torture episode. And when you watch this stupid ass bitch torment all of the other characters throughout the entire season, it feels so good to watch her get her comeuppance and just struggle the entire episode, just taking dare after dare after dare. The challenge is all about spinning this wheel to complete a really disgusting challenge that has been chosen by a camper that was already eliminated. And all of them choose some really fun challenges. I enjoy it a lot. And if you're able to complete the challenge, you get a freebie that will let you skip that challenge. And Owen, he is pretty comfortable doing whatever it is he has to do. He doesn't really find any of it disgusting, so he keeps winning challenge after challenge after challenge.
Oh, bro, my dog digs this food. Time to find out what I've been missing.
And Heather has to do some very disgusting things. The main one that always comes to memory is sucking the jelly out of Owen's belly. Yeah, that rhymes, so you know it's a little bit disgusting, right? And she suffers a lot with that.
Wash in there. Not because I don't want to, I just forget.
Gwen has to drink literal, like, fucking feces water out of a toilet. Yeah, it's all really gross. And Gwen, seeing that Owen is a challenge master, makes a strategic move that just cannot be missed and cannot be ignored, because it's probably one of the best moves in the entire series, to ask Owen to split all of the freebies with her so that they could just bum rush Heather and get rid of her. And all she says to get this deal to go rolling is that she'll get him a box of donuts and split the money with him. Okay, I guess that is a lot. That's a pretty big offer, but hey, there you go. And then we just get to watch Heather get tortured for the entire rest of the episode. How great is that? And Heather's able to endure all of this until it gets to Lindsay's spin on the wheel, and that is to shave her head. And the best thing in the entire episode happens, where she refuses it by kicking it away just for it to fall back onto her head after it gets kicked up in the air and shave her head anyway. It's so great. It's one of the best episodes in the entire series, and it's honestly just so much fun. There's so many great scenes throughout the entire episode. It's comedic, it's great, and it's amazing to watch Heather get genuinely tortured after she tortured everybody else. I'm not usually a big fan of torture episodes in cartoons, but in this case, when a character genuinely deserves it, it's just all the more sweet, making it my favorite challenge in all of Total Drama and what I think is the best challenge in season 1. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to like and subscribe. If this video does well, once again, I will make a part 2 doing Total Drama action. And yeah, this was kind of a very new territory for me. I don't usually talk about a show like this, or a show that is usually 22 minutes long for every single episode. So I don't know, I'm kind of feeling iffy about all the stuff I said, but I still hope that you enjoyed this video, and I have lots of good stuff coming on the way. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.